Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirma Bang, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Mr. Krishnan Venkatachari, CFO at Cignite Technologies, joining in. Welcome to the show, Mr. Venkatachari. My first question coming to you right now is, overall, it was completely gloom and doom last year, taking into consideration how COVID had hit us. And now it's actually worsened as well. Clearly, if you see in terms of your numbers as well, how would you describe FY21 versus FY20 as a year?
Okay. Good morning, and I wish everybody is safe and healthy. And yes, the year started with a scary note, and the year also has ended, especially in India, in terms of the pandemic has been really worse. We are not an exception into the industry, but I think predominantly where we are 95% of the business is being tied down from the US and Europe. I think we are able to float around. Well, we started the year actually on a comparable basis. If you look through, basically, we have been servicing about 30% from the travel industry. But I think that took a beating, and the order book position came down drastically from about 103 million to about 83 million. Apart from the orders won, but I think we also lost, we also had a dip in most of the sectoral dip in terms of the healthcare, in terms of travel and entertainment. But I think for that, on a comparable basis, I think we have remained to float around, and we were able to pull our services and ramp up on the healthcare and retail, and to an extent on the BFSI side. And net, we are able to close the year with about marginally 1.5% to 2% on dollar terms, while on the rupee term, on account of a small rupee variation, we have even appreciated in terms of the rupee revenue, if you look at it on a consolidated basis. So just to explain, probably comparing to last year to this year was a tough year, but I think it has given us a good footholding in terms of how we can survive the pandemic and what are the opportunities and how we can really move up. And it has also helped us to do a floating around. While doing the floating around on a normal basis, probably we're able to improve on the margins as well, very clearly.
Right. So overall, as you mentioned as well, do you think the numbers that have been reported for the fourth quarter and for the financial year have met your internal expectations, or do you think you were expecting the worst and this has been better?
We did definitely expect the worst, but I think the third and fourth quarter we were anticipating to this extent, and we exceeded the expectations probably. While we had budgeted, I want to be very categorical. We budgeted about 118 million for the current year in terms of as against 123 million what we did last year, and we estimated an EBITDA at about 15% as against what we did about 15.8% last year on dollar terms. But I think we ended the year at about 121.67 million, and we also finished an EBITDA at about 16.4%. So which means that on both counts, definitely we have exceeded the expectation. But having said that, basically what is more countable is that the order book position and the run rate where we are in today. The order book position where we have commenced the current year, which is very, very informative, is that we have started the year with about close to 133 million for billability for April to March, with a run rate of about 11.95 million is what we have done in March. So which means that leaves us definitely in a very positive note. So this has exceeded the expectations. So in terms of what our strategies, I think that has really worked out in terms of the business. That's what happens.
Right. And overall, so if we have to compare as well for a layman, we've still managed to be afloat on terms of our revenue and EBITDA. Profits have dipped on a quarterly basis as well as on a yearly basis. So what's the reason for the dip in terms of profitability?
Okay, there are two counts to be looked at in terms of the profitability. The quarter one, quarter two, we had taken a salary hit of about 5% in terms of from the employees' cost. So that would have shown very clearly in terms, and savings on the travel has been there throughout very clearly. So that would have shown basically Q1, Q2 on the profit being on the slightly higher side, while it comes to Q3 and Q4. If you look at it on the profitability side, this 5% was reversed. Not a single person was fired out, and we have utilized the bench and we have moved ahead and added people. So invariably, investments for the business have also been done in Q4. So if you look at it on a quarter, this will be the comparison. But if you look at it on a year basis, I would put it into two parameters very clearly. One, till EBITDA and EBIT level. Second is at the PAT level. And EBITDA level very clearly, as I explained to you, where we have moved from 15.8 to 16.4, which is definitely a jump by about a quarter, 3/4 of a percentage clearly. Second is that we have moved, similar impact is seen in EBIT. However, on the PAT, you are absolutely right that our profitability has come down. There are two counts to look at it very clearly. One, last year had 11 crores of software export incentive income, which has had a sunset clause in 2020 March, and we don't have that income this year. Two, this year, if you look at it, we have gone on a full-blown taxation of about close to 37 crores as against 9 crores, which was partial during the last year. So these are the two major impacts, and continuing the current quarter as a trend, if you look at it in terms of the taxation for the whole year, will remain as it is. I think if you just reverse that, net it up very clearly, I think we have done exceedingly well in terms of where we are. So the business remained buoyant in terms of trying to fill in the pouches very clearly, where the churn has been very high, where we brought down, we filled up from 83 million to 123 million in terms of from the order book to the actual revenue, 121.67, whatever it is. But I think if you go by the norms, I think taxation, which was very well anticipated that we'll be on a full-blown taxation this year. So across the globe, we have gone into full-blown taxation, which will be the case moving forward at an average at about 21%. So now, so if you dissect the complete profitability into two areas, I think still we have done well, because you will have to just remove the other income of about 11 crores and do a comparison. I think we have done really well.
Right. And overall, if you have to talk about different sectors that we operate in, or we service, the different sectors that we service, which are the sectors that have contributed maximum to the revenues so far?
Yeah, retail, travel, you have to understand, last year on a 123 million, 30% was 28%, 29% was coming from travel, hospitality and entertainment. That has come down by 15% on a net similar revenue at about 121.63 million. And we don't expect this to go down basically, because we expect a lot of value add we have done to the clients. We have retained the people, and we have done zero billing in few cases, and we have started developing, delivering value added solutions, which has made us to win back the accounts, and they have become billable now. So invariably, I expect this 14% contribution in this current year, what has come through from that sector, will only start moving up. Leaving that aside, I think retail and healthcare has been one of the forte for me, which has absolutely contributed in terms of my this year's journey. And especially the bucket has been filled by the retail and what we call healthcare sector. And I expect that these three to really start moving up in the years to come, because that is what we have been trying to put all our offerings into in terms of retail and healthcare. And retail is ramped up in a very big way for us.
Right. And overall, if you have to see, in terms of different sectors, which do you think will continue to languish going ahead? And, which are the sectors that as a strategy you would continue to, focus on?
Okay, so I think that's a good question. So if you look at as a combination, which I want to tell you very clearly, what has been a contribution in terms of BFSI coming at about 19%, travel hospitality 14%. The retail has jumped up from 11 to 17% comparing to the previous years over the last 2-3 years. And I have my healthcare in a good way at about 14%. So I don't see a languishing in terms of any sector, but I think our enhanced focus could be coming through very clearly in terms of BFSI, travel, retail, and healthcare. As a sector, I think we'll be giving a more thrust to these basically.
Okay. And in terms of different geographies as well, as we know, North America, Canada are the ones which contribute the maximum, but do you see the mix changing going ahead?
Moderately, because I think I see a large volume of business coming up. There's a depth of opportunities available in the US and the Canadian market in a big way. And that is an untapped market where basically we'll be able to push that out. But I don't see that skewing today. If you look at about, if you just compare to the last year revenue, where we are at about 90% plus in the US and Canadian market, today we are at about 85-86%, and then The UK is one which we are trying to give a thrust. We are trying to open up a nearshore center in Czechoslovakia. And also, this pandemic is essential that each and every company is trying to look through in terms of the large caps already have their centers, but I think mid cap is trying to move up. So we are just floating a subsidiary in Singapore, and we are trying to do that in Czechoslovakia, so that we are trying to give a thrust because we have signed some good deals with leading automobile majors like Volkswagen. So we're trying to set up some kind of a nearshore center there. So I think we see Europe as a region probably will start contributing a bit. But I think if you look at it in the scheme of things, probably we have targeted a double-digit growth, which could be, we will definitely come back to the market, but I think we have a very clear 5-year journey in terms of getting into $500 million very clearly. So as a part of that, I think on an average, organically, that includes both organic and inorganic. So if you look at it organically, ideally, my CAGR has to be around 25% plus or 20% plus on a scalable basis if you look through clearly. So we are very confident that for that kind of a growth, the mix could come through in such a way that my rest of the world will contribute 5%, my Europe will contribute 10 to 12%, and US will contribute about 83 to 85%. So that mix could be a mix. What you see this year could marginally move up tilt in favor of Europe, but I think will remain more or less on a constant basis.
Right. And how has attrition been during the year and during the quarter?
Oh yeah, during the quarter on isolation, probably I would say it is about 19%. But I think overall for the year, we have been there at about 16.2%. This 19% is a cause for worry, which has happened to us because we have not done a salary revision in the last year. And with working from home, I think the demand for the folks have become quite high. And then there has been a lot of influx in terms of people moving in, moving out, and things like that. So we were definitely concerned a bit in terms of the last quarter, or probably I would put it in a more on average, probably is that over the last 4 or 5 months has been pretty high. Of course, we have released salary revisions across the globe. We have done that. And that has taken place effective 1st April, and we just did that about a couple of days back. And that the positive feedback and the vibe, what we expect probably is that should bring us down basically on the attrition. We hope to make it remain at about 15%, 16% probably. But I think, we'll have to live with what it is. Yeah.
Okay. And overall, as you mentioned in the first and the second quarter, you had taken salary cuts, etc. What are the other cost-cutting initiatives the company is taking and expects to take further that will continue to aid margins?
Yeah, we were able to negotiate with the landlords in terms of the, let me put it into the 3 buckets very clearly. 1 is on the COGS, which is the employee cost. 2 is on the travel. 3rd is on the housing cost, which is on the administration and other things. So we have done, let me come on the reverse order very clearly. We have gone to the landlords. We are trying to take as against telling the landlords clearly, give me a 10%, 20% cut as what we have done very clearly. And we said that help us out for 2 months to tide over without rent clearly. So we have done that in terms of the efficiencies, in terms of what it is to be done. We have surrendered few premises, which is not required because with working from home norm coming, at least we anticipated for next 1 year or so, there were small pockets of leases available at about 10,000, 15,000 SFTs, all that has been surrendered out very clearly. So there has been some amount of saving. And then the operational savings, which inherent, it comes basically with lean and mean housekeeping and all that. So that is a constant process in terms of the administrative cost which come through. But then what is more important is that we reviewed all the contracts, the consulting contracts very clearly, and then we put a stop very clearly to those which are not essential very clearly and not critical in operations. And then we have optimized on the software licensing cost. We were able to go back to the table to negotiate at every vendor, and we were able to get that out on a marginal reduction on that. This will be a continuous process. Travel has been very meticulous that by default, it has been stopped by the government norms. But I think when it opened up as well, we were very, very particular that not to sanction the travel. That is one of the reasons if you look through net on net year over year, I think we have saved about close to 25 crores or 29 crores. I think I'll have to just check my number. I think it's about 25 crores plus where I've saved in terms of the travel very clearly. Though the customer touch point is definitely very important for this business, but I think we were able to do more frequent, live calls very clearly to be in touch with the customer, and the customer understands very clearly that visiting in person is not that essential on a continuing account. So that is one thing on a travel substantial basis. When it comes to the COGS, clearly, yes, what we have done is that this pandemic has seen very clearly that people asking us to shift to offshore. While it is offshore, the top line may come down, but I think invariably the margins will start moving up. And I think we have also sought a flexibility while it is coming through that to fill these attritions, we have taken up kind of college pass outs and things like that. So we have done a marginal pyramid mix, and that is one area of scope very clearly that we will be doing in terms of moving forward as a pyramid mix. Second is that we are trying to push through our offerings, newer offerings in the digital and other space. Like, for example, last 9 months, the wins in particular, especially in the last 8 wins, I would say that the gross margin has been at about 44%. And also the longevity of the contracts have been signed between 12 to 18 months, which is a fantastic beginning. So that there's a predictability and also there is some amount of flexibility in terms of the margins with offshore operations. I think these are the steps, and that will remain as a continuous process for me to move forward. Yeah.
Right.
Pyramid mix.
Right. So overall, from here on, what will be the growth plan and the strategy for the company?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I did explain to you that we have a target very clearly that 2021 as a base, 2025 we should be touching both organically and inorganically about $12 to $500 million. I think we'll just come out and definitely disseminate this information uniformly across very clearly. That's a plan out very clearly, which is going to come out, and then so you can just look at it that in that whole scheme of things, probably the inorganic it will be tucked in inorganic growth, which will also come in, and then it will start growing organically during that period as well very clearly. But I think as a testing business, probably if you look at it from 120 million, we are targeting about close to in 4 years to go to about 300 million plus very clearly. So which leaves me a CAGR at about 20 to 25%. So I'm not trying to give any guidance, but I think I'm giving you as much numbers as possible very clearly so that one can infer out very clearly that what is the confidence level. Why that confidence level with an order book position of 133 million and with further orders being signed continuously on a regular basis. But I think we are on a great path probably because we have just pulled up our strings together in terms of platform-enabled deliverables and moving ahead. I mean, the other important point, which is very important, is that in the next, in our journey over the next 4 years, is going to be that we will become an integrated SI player. But I think not on B2 kind of sundry SI player. We will be trying to be an SI player on a much sought after specific digital areas very clearly. So which means that my assurance area will contribute about 70% and 30% will come from the SI play. So which means that there's a value added, a level playing field, which we are trying to do. So we have roped in a consultant based out of Bangalore by name Octus Consulting, and who help us out over the last 6 months during the pandemic. 6 to 9 months they have been with us, about close to 8 months, 9 months. And we are trying to do the transformation journey through them. And we are pretty confident that we'll be able to make that happen.
Absolutely. I think the growth story also looks promising. Thank you, Mr. Venkatachari, so much for joining us on the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well. Stay safe and speak to you soon again.
Sure. Thank you. It was very interesting. And thanks for the discussions. Thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah.